And everybody, welcome to the Arkansas Razorback Diamond Report. I'm your host, James Madison. Man, I'm going to tell you what, we're excited today. It is opening day for baseball. We are past basketball. Softball is in mid-form. They're at Tucson today. And got a lot of coverage going on. So right now, this is now Dudley's busiest time of the year. Dudley, how you doing, man?
Doing good. Looking forward to the opening of baseball season. Of course, it would have been better yesterday with the great weather we had yesterday. Now it's rainy and going to get down to 38, I guess, by game time. But hey, that's what's normal around here for the start of baseball season.
Well, you know, everybody also want to tell you too, any updates that you want today, baseball, softball, go right there at Twitter. Dudley's Twitter handle right there. He will have all the updates for you that you can handle. I promise you. All you have to do is just go on there and click on the alerts. Make sure that whenever Dudley posts something, it will go straight to your phone and he'll keep you up to date, even if you're not able to watch today. So, Long Beach State at noon. You're cut off there, man.
And that's with both sports because softball starts at 12, and then they have a game at 5 against Arizona, who's one of the blue bloods of softball. 25 appearances in the College World Series. Arkansas looking for their first, obviously. And also Arizona had, up until last year, a 35-year streak of going to the NCAA tournament that finished 29-26 and were one of the last 4 out. So big day for softball as well.
It is. I was reading some of the game notes that Oliver had sent out for today. Arkansas is 20-1. You can see that in the crawl as well. On opening day, under Dave Van Horn, 15-1 in the friendly confines of Baum Stadium. That lone loss came to Illinois State back in 2022, 3-2. And what type of problems could James Madison from the SWAC cause Arkansas today?
Well, they are a club that revolves around. They're a club that revolves around speed, and the thing that really gets them going is Fenwick Trimble. He's their best player. Fantastic name, I think. But he led them in home runs, led them in hits, led them in stolen bases. An exciting player at the top of their lineup. So, he's the big guy that they have. He's their star, but it is a pretty complete team, and they're going to really go from first to third, really try to get, as many bases as they can, whether they're hitting the ball or not. They're going to play fast, and I think that'll be good for Arkansas. I really think it's good for them to not be just going down to Arlington right off the bat. Get these 4 games in, get some things going, get the 4 pitchers that you have starting this weekend, get them some innings, and get some of those freshmen, including Colin Fisher, who will start the 4th game in situations that if they trot out to the mound at Globe Life Stadium, they won't be like Gage Wood, who had a phenomenal season, is going to be a phenomenal player, but was a little shaky last year in his first appearance because it's a lot bigger stadium and a lot bigger stage at Globe Life Stadium than it was in Batesville, Newport, whatever.
Yeah, and that's, were you a little surprised to see the Monday starter that Dave announced coming in?
Well, Bobby had been hurt, and I think they would have liked to have gone with him if he had been healthy. Also, Gabe Gackel has really pitched well, but no, not Colin Fisher. Up until his last outing in the scrimmage, had really thrown the ball well. He's a strikeout pitcher, 6'6", 225. Is a guy that's built for the stage. I think is somebody that they really are excited about in terms of what they're going to get out of him, and they're going to get him that nod on Monday. We'll see if that 4th spot or midweek spot, I guess it will be when they get going and to the vast majority of the regular season. We'll see how it shifts around. But they've got some candidates there. Parker Coyle is another one. Obviously a sophomore. He has said, Coach Van Horn has said, he's going to try to do his best to get the vets in, bring the youngsters along, and get them to where by obviously the middle of the season they're significant impact guys.
One of the things that I'm looking for, and I'm sure you might be looking for too, is the mixed hitting going into this weekend. You don't want to see either a lot of either pop trying to swing for the fences, or you also don't want to see them trying to, putting singles out and, shallow left, right field. I think it's going to be fun to watch to see what type of approach they have at the plate, because whenever you have that mixed hitting, I think that's where Arkansas is going to be the most dangerous.
Yeah, and as you're talking about balance up and down the lineup, they've got guys who can take it out of the park. V. Aloy is I think going to be an exciting player for the fans to watch. We've really enjoyed watching him in the scrimmage. He barrels up almost every pitch that he swings at. Whether it's a home run, double, hard hit, single, hard hit out, he seems to be the gem of the transfer portal guys that they got, which was a top 5 transfer portal class, but he looks like he is on the verge of being a superstar. And he's just a sophomore, so you at least got him for this year and next year as well.
Yeah, that's what's going to be fun to also watch, to see how, James Madison approaches not him, but the guy before him, the guy after him, and to see where he's able to also be able to strike. Because, if he's got a guy on base and he's able to barrel up, like you said, that's going to put them in the hole really quick.
Yeah, and it's an exciting situation. You wish that Peyton Stovall was able to play, obviously out the first 4 to 6 weeks or somewhere in that timetable. Got hit twice in the same foot, same place in a scrimmage that I was at, and you could see the frustration, but you didn't know it was a broken foot. You just thought it hurt, and he even went on social media and said he was okay in that. All that it's been tough on him, and Coach Van Horn talked about how he's like, "Whoa, the kind of the woe is me. Why is this happening to him?" And Van Horn told him that it's happening because you can handle it, and you're going to come back. You're going to be a great player, and they'll start off with Peyton Holt at second base, and Jared Spreglot, who will be known as JSL. At third base, at least to start working that in, because Hope played well at second base last year, and Jared Spreglot, while at Richmond, had played a lot of third base as well. So that's going to be the lineup they're going to go in with today. And Hudson White, I'm sure when he transferred from Texas Tech, did not think he would be batting leadoff today, but that's how they are going to do it. He's been spraying the ball all over the place during the scrimmages, and they've moved him up to that leadoff spot with Stovall out, and looking forward to seeing that happen. And you're probably going to have Diggs batting second now, Aloy batting third, and Wagner or whoever he'd come back to clean up. That's a really good crew to start the game.
It is. So, Hagen Smith takes the mound today, and there was a stat. There was a little stat nugget that I saw. I don't know. I think you might have saw it too. This is the first time that an Arkansas All-American has taken the mound since Blaine Knight did it in the 17-18 season. Now, if y'all think back, that 17-18 season was pretty stinking magical. I'm not wanting to put that out there, but I'm just saying that that's the stat that was put out there. It could bode pretty well for Arkansas going on with just the lineup and how everything is kind of lined up for them, and with the schedule.
Yeah, they really do, it appears, have a great weekend starting lineup. And they, this weekend they're going to go left, right. Which is, I know coaches, managers like to do that as well, because it allows them to do things that, kind of keep other teams off balance. And when you've got Hagen Smith, Brady Tiger, Mason Molina, the transfer from Texas Tech, and then Colin Fisher ready to go. And then the guy who's kind of sitting out there that's going to be the jack of all trades is Will McIntyre, who can come in and either go an inning, he can go 3 innings if he has to. As we've seen, he can come in and go 7 innings, if he needs to. And he's going to be an integral part of this pitching staff.
He is. Has Dave talked about who he's decided on a closer yet?
He has a variety of people he's going to use. You think Gage would probably be the guy to close it out to start the year, since he was in that role a lot last year. But he feels like he's got a lot of different matchups. He's got 11 left-handers on his team, which is just ridiculous. So it's one of those situations where you feel happy for him, and he's got a lot of options, and he can just work it and see who takes the ball and runs with it, literally.
Yep. I was trolling on social media last couple of days, and last night Hog Noxious had posted a photo of the Ribby Q. They've got all of their tents up, it seems like. Had it up yesterday. Those guys are super excited for the season. And make sure also they got that devotional on Sunday. You all can check that out, and they got free food over there as well. And I don't like to give shameless plugs too much, but those guys do a lot of great things for the fan base, and they offer a lot too. And I feel like it's really necessary to put that out there.
You could see the crowd's already lined up over there for a 3:00 game, even with some rain going on this morning. They're excited about it. And let's be honest, the football season didn't go as nobody wanted, and the basketball season certainly hadn't either. So the baseball and softball teams and some others are, obviously soccer did a great job, and volleyball did the women's sports, but there's some fans over there thirsting for success, and I would suspect that this baseball team will give it to them.
Yeah, and the feeling that I kind of have from the fan base too, from what I've witnessed on social media, is that there's a lot of people that are ready to put the final nail in the coffin for basketball. They're ready to move on. Whatever happens. They, like you said, they're thirsty for wins. They're thirsty for some great play and something they can then hold on to, because let's face it, since September, we're looking at 6-7 months now of play where it's underwhelmed this entire fan base. And I'm going to tell you what, it seems like Dave Van Horn he's showing up with the cape around his shoulder. He's got the that look of, hey, you know what? Jump behind me. I'm going to lead you guys to some success. And he seems like he's pretty stinking happy about the season finally starting up too.
Yeah, I think it's just a general overall feeling. I've been clear and joked about it, about how the two longest loves of my life have been Petra, my wife, and baseball. Left baseball a little bit longer because I knew about it before I knew Petra in 4th grade. But it is a sport that remains popular. Maybe not as popular as it was when it was the national handle is the national pastime. But around here, when you win and have success, people flock to the games, and I'm sure there's going to be a great crowd there today, even if it's 38 degrees and raining.
Definitely. So let's turn to some warmer weather. Arkansas softball's in Tucson, Arizona, like we talked about at the first of the show. They're going to be taking the field here in around 45 minutes, and they're going to be taking on Long Beach State. Arkansas went 4-1, or was it 3-1? I think over last weekend, and 4-1, and they seem to kind of have a little bit of difficulty at getting off the ground those second couple of games. They were able to put some runs across pretty early the first couple of games, but what is Coach Deifel kind of looking for coming into this weekend before they come back home for that long stretch here at Bogle?
Well, I think that they left a lot of people on base, 11 in the game, which they lost 3-2 in extra innings, to Penn State. Other than that, they did a good job at generating runs. They had obviously 2 at the top of the lineup that had 17 hits, and Reagan Johnson and Nia Carter. Bree Ellis had 7 RBIs. You had 5 people hit over 300, but the length of the lineup, which we thought would be a strength, was really not that in a couple of those games. So I think they're looking for more consistency this weekend. And pitching-wise, obviously Reese Burling and Robin Herron came in and did a good job. Obviously Hannah Kamazine as well. And you're going to get they're back out and get to face. Today, you get 2 quality programs. Well, Long Beach State is 0-4. Arizona's 5-0. Arizona outscored their opponents 40-1 last weekend. It's hard playing air to only give up 1 run, in 5 games. So these are going to be 2 games today. You would hope that they would be able to get out a good start in this first one, and then kind of battle what you could see with in terms of Arizona, because it's a quality team.
Yep. And we'll also have Coach Deifel on here in the next week or two, whenever they are back home in the friendly confines of Bogle. I think that that lineup is going to recapture their name of the Bogle Bombers, just because of the pop that there is from 1 to 10 in that lineup. And I'm really looking forward to what Coach Deifel's team is bringing to the table. I want to see Hannah Gamble. I want to see Hannah kind of turn that corner from last season. I know that she kind of struggled a little bit last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see her kind of take that freshman sophomore form that she had, where she was able to get into that lineup, not quite lost, but kind of just fits into that lineup, and not be just the person that's helping carry that lineup, but has a lot of cast of characters that are around her to help support her and carry that lineup.
Yeah, she had one of their 2 home runs last week. The ball will carry much better than it did in Arizona this weekend than it does in Florida, according to Coach Deifel. She can be an integral part of this team. Obviously, she's one of the leaders on the team. She has not played. I think she would agree with you that it was not her best year last year, obviously, and kind of once she started off a little slow, started pressing, but they believe in her over there, and she believes in herself, and it's going to be a big year for her in terms of it being her last year. So I'm sure she will do her best to be part of the Bogle Bombers, and certainly she I used the phrase last year when she made a play, Brooks Robinson-esque. There's nothing I can do to give you more praise on a baseball or softball field than say Brooks Robinson-esque.
Yeah, former Arkansas MLB star. So first of the week, we had a tragedy in the Razorback family, where with the passing of trainer for the last 40 years, Dean Weber. I don't know of another individual on the Hill that has had the type of connection that he has had with so many student athletes over that 40-year period. It seems like it's story after story after story of for him. It seemed like it was just an everything day to do to help people get better, get them back on the field. But honest to God, he was a hero.
Yeah, someone who really he was here when I got here. Obviously, I think he started working here in '74. I arrived in '81, and obviously have known him since then. It meant a lot to me when my mom and brother died in a car crash, and he came down to Newport for the funeral. He's just always done a lot of stuff behind the scenes that kind of went unnoticed. Clay Henry wrote a little bit about it. In terms of what he's done in all the situations, but has been an integral part of this athletic program for a while. Yes, there's one thing that cropped up, and all that. But overall, it's been a tough last year almost for him, and in terms of his health and dealing with stuff, and looking forward is as you can. I don't know if that's the right way to say, to the celebration of life he's going to have on the in April 13th when the letterman are here. That gives everybody that was a part of being around him and all that an opportunity to be here and participate in that. So I think it's a really good idea that they had.
Yeah, that was a really great idea. And from what I have kind of taken, and Chuck Barrett was talking about this too, is that he had everything already planned out before any of this happened. He had everything specifically written down on how he wanted everything to go. And he didn't want people to, take time out of their schedule to remember him twice. He wanted it to be a one and done thing. And that's why he wanted it to be the weekend of the spring game, because there will be so many former Razorbacks that will be, making the migrate, or, making that voyage to Fayetteville. And I think that you're going to see a record number of student athletes and former student athletes that will be making that voyage to Fayetteville to remember Dean. And I really feel like it's going to bring some closure to some folks. You're going to hear, I'm sure, probably a lot more stories than we've already heard, on social media, through radio and print. But I'm looking forward to hearing some of those great stories of, well, my wife or my kid, it was, they weren't feeling good or something was hurt. And instead of them getting, a recommendation from Dean just said, just bring him in. I mean, I heard a guy, Ty Richardson, was talking about it, that, there was a UPS guy that he saw. And it was just, it didn't matter, because he was the type of guy that didn't matter if he had been there for 30 years or 3 days. He was going to tape ankles. He was going to do everything from A to Z, and showing not only the student athletes, but the people that worked under him how to lead. And I think that that's what a lot of people are taking away from him.
Yeah, and I was always giving me a lot of grief. He went from trainer to director of sports medicine. Which the titles, as they changed over the years, were kind of interesting. But again, a guy who just, the fact that the stories and stuff have rolled in since he passed, and it's been universal. From the athletes, on how much he meant to them and how he helped them in their careers. I mean, let's be honest. The key thing, whether you're a husband, a father, a grandfather, as I like to point out, I am now,
Nearly grandfather,
a coach, or a director of sports medicine, is being present. And, he got kids out on the field. They were able to play. They worked the rehab. He was the boss of that training room. And if you didn't believe it, go in there when you weren't supposed to be in there as a player, or where you were supposed to be as a manager or whatever. He's done a phenomenal job, or had done a phenomenal job. Still gonna have to get used to going past tense in terms of just being what the university needed at the time they needed it.
They did. And like I said, there's also a great story that Greg Thomas has in his book, which, by the way, selfless plug really quick, No Doubting Thomas, go read that. Greg had a very unique and a great experience with Dean whenever he first stepped foot on campus as well. And, that was the type of guy that Dean was. And I'm not going to tell the story, because I'm going to let you read the book. I'm going to let Greg tell that story, because I can't do that story justice. He can, because it was his story. But you need to check that out. And that was a really great story that he had about Dean. And I really look forward to, hearing some of the different stories as folks try to, start to move into Fayetteville for that spring game. Also, one other thing before we get out of here, the tragedy that happened Wednesday at the Kansas City Chiefs parade, Super Bowl parade. Lisa Lopez Galvin, was struck and hit. She was killed during that parade. And I've seen a lot of outpouring on social media. And today it was put out too that Taylor Swift had donated $100,000 to the family to help with the costs that her family are going to be incurring. She had 2 small children as well. And, you can hate on Taylor Swift, you can hate on the Kansas City Chiefs, but whenever you have that type of outpouring, that right there goes beyond sports. That's just the human connection, that you're just doing the right thing. And you're starting to see a lot of positive out of such a tragedy.
Yeah, and I hate that happened, and apparently it was not anything that was going to happen. That somebody disrespected somebody, and they had a gun and pulled it out, and get political while I wanted to, but I'm not going to. Just hate to see that. I admire Taylor Swift, and right away, saying she was going to give that family the money for different things. And you can argue night and day with me on Taylor Swift and all this and that, but that $100,000 going to that family is $100,000, whether you like Taylor Swift or not. And, whether it's a ploy for publicity or sincere and all that, I tend to take people at word and that their sincerity. And obviously she's, had quite a year in Kansas City and that happened. And, you got to give her a lot of credit for it. I don't care if you don't like her music. I don't care if you don't like her. You have to give credit for people who step up and do that right away.
Yeah. And that's what's really important, is to understand at a personal level, not from you hate on certain people because of certain reasons. This is, like I said, this is personal. And for her to set up, stand, and she didn't have to come out and say, hey, you know what, Kansas City community, I'm going to help support you and support the people, because let's face it, the person that did this atrocity was dragged down by Kansas City Chief fans along the parade route after it happened. Well, the suspect, I should say.
Best tackle, one of the, three suspects, I guess, best tackle I've seen since Baker Mayfield went down. Police captured Baker Mayfield on Dixon Street. And
Exactly.
As Baker said, Dixon Street, it'll get you.
It'll get you. You took the words right out of my mouth, because I was about to make that same thing, that same remark too. But yeah, I want to commend the folks in Kansas City that did apprehend that guy that had a weapon on him, and they still went after him, and they still tackled the guy. So let's bring it back full circle here to Razorback baseball for a second. And again, they're going to be first pitch is moved from 3 o'clock to 2 o'clock because of weather. It can be seen on SEC Plus. You got Troy Eklund, you got Brett Dolan on the call this afternoon. And what are you looking for from Hagen Smith in his first start today?
Well, I think the important thing is not to expect him to be perfect. It is, his first start of the season. He is a first-team All-American. He is the preseason SEC Pitcher of the Year. But if you're going for it, to expect him to pitch 9 innings of a shutout game with very few hits, I think he'll give up some. That's just the nature of the business, especially early out of the gate. But he's a phenomenal pitcher. He'll touch 100 this year, I'm sure. We've already seen 99 on the gun, and once he gets juices flowing, I'm sure that 100 will come about. But it's the variety of pitches he has that's going to help him out more than, just being able to throw that fastball. Eventually, college hitters can sit on a fastball. He gets you out in a variety of different ways. He's very fiery. I like that. But I expect, all of these pitchers to pitch pretty well this weekend. I expect James Madison to put up a fight. They're a decent club, get a really good coach who just got extended through 2026. And so just ready to get to the ballpark, even if at the ballpark today, it's not going to look like it was yesterday when it was so beautiful.
Oh, my God. I know. I was outside yesterday, and I just didn't want to come inside because it was so stinking nice out there. I was actually supposed to have gotten a story up, but I didn't get it up. I'll have that up today. But and it was just because it was so nice. I was out and I was enjoying it. I had my family out, and we were having a great time. What could be the deciding factor for each team that could lead them to victory today?
Well, obviously James Madison. I have fun saying this. It sounds like he's Thurston Howell III's son, but Finn Trimble is again, I said, a phenomenal player for them. He's someone that will get their offense going. They're certainly a capable club of coming in here, taking a game, taking a couple of games if Arkansas is not ready to play. But I do think Arkansas will have very good pitching this weekend. Mason Molina, the Texas Tech transfer, has been a little wild. You hope to see him throw strikes. I know that's what Van Horn and Coach Matt Hobbs want to see the pitching coach this weekend. And I'm ready to see that lineup go up and down. V. Aloy is, I guess they have all these things on TV, pick to click and all that. He's my pick to click this weekend. He's going to be a lot of fun for the fans to watch.
All right. Well, Dudley, I'm going to get you out of here. You got softball in 30 minutes and baseball in about 2.5 hours. So
it's not, it's not. It's a real job. Amazingly, it's a real job. This thing I do. So.
All right, well, man, you take care. Keep warm. I know you're going to have the heater with you pumping today. So.
Yeah, I am. I love it during the early season in baseball. I get visited by a lot lot of friends in the press box because I always have the slash combo heater fan up there. So
I would say, yeah, because whenever I was with you up in the press box last softball season, you had that heater going. I thought, damn, this guy's gone to the next level. He's got to figure it out.
Vet move.
It was.
Petra is my beautiful wife, Petra, who's sitting right over there, by the way, says I put everything in there but the kitchen sink. You know, that's really because I'm in my big old bag, and it's just because I can't fit the kitchen sink in there, or I'd take it with me, Chip.
But that's experience, man. That is experience, and that's what we can all follow right there is that experience.
Hey, shout out to Gold Peak sugar-free sweet tea, which will make it into the game as well today. So,
oh, nice. All right, well, I'll get you out of here. You got softball coming up, and we will talk to you very soon. And everybody, make sure to head over to hugville.net to check out all of the great content from Otis, Dudley, Kevin, myself, John James, and all of the great photos that he produces. And make sure to follow also Dudley on Twitter for all of the updates, so that way you guys can stay abreast with what's going on. So for Dudley, myself, Jason, I want to thank you guys for tuning in today, and we will see you soon.